This is year 2, lesson 3.5, applying dilemma strategies. The unit learning goal is that students will analyze real-world dilemmas using various lenses to determine central conflicts and possible solutions. The lesson goal specifically here will be able to apply the various lenses that they've just learned over this unit together to examine dilemmas. As an educator, you will be able to observe classroom conversations and provide feedback on potential areas of misunderstanding related to the lenses. You can also review written responses to the dilemmas during the Chalk Talk exercise. And you can analyze exit tickets to determine which lenses students find the most challenging and would like a little more clarification. The CASEL alignment for this lesson is responsible decision making and social awareness. For portfolio documentations, you can take notes of the Chalk Talk. They can be saved in either paper or for photographic form. So if you can take a picture of the different notes around the room, which you'll see as we go through the lesson, that would be great for students to keep in their portfolios. Also, the year 2 lesson 3.5 exit ticket. And there's an optional additional handout, the Chalk Talk synthesis. For resources, you're going to want to keep this 4 lenses video on hand. There's a Chalk Talk instructional video here, which is from EL Education. It's a great overview of exactly what to do and what to expect in a Chalk Talk. And then these 4 dilemmas for the Chalk Talk discussion you're going to want on hand. Prerequisites for this specific lesson are the previous 4 lessons from this unit in this year. So lesson 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4 all come together and are synthesized in this lesson 3.5. If it's been a while since your last lesson, take a look at the optional refresher. You can remind students that in year 1 of the lesson plans, they learned about the idea of lenses for approaching different dilemmas, the roles, responsibility, values, and alignment and misalignment. Over the past 4 lessons, they've talked specifically about how each of these frameworks can affect decision making when it comes to dilemmas. And today, we'll take a closer look at how these lenses come together in real life dilemmas. So again, you can remind students of the 4 lenses that they might apply when facing a dilemma. You can go over roles, responsibility, values, and alignment. You can either talk about this with your class or you can put them up on the board. Alternatively, you can also watch this 4 lenses refresher video we have linked here. And then you're going to get into the heart of this lesson, which is called the Chalk Talk discussion. So you're going to take the 4 dilemmas that we have on this link right here, and you're going to put them on large pieces of paper and have them placed around the room on different walls so that people can move around as groups to focus on a specific dilemma. If you think there are too many dilemmas for the length of the time or the size of your class, you don't have to use all 4 here. You can focus on either 2 or 3 of them. It depends on your class and what you think you might have time for. Then you can break students up into groups, and each group is going to choose one of the dilemmas around the room. You want to give the students 5 minutes to read the dilemma and write their reactions to the dilemma using the following prompts. Which lenses can you use to analyze the dilemma? And they've just gone over values, roles, alignment, and responsibility. Here are some examples. Rob's passion for theater is misaligned with his father's interest, or responsibility to her friend or to Emma's friends, or conflicting with her responsibilities and values as a scientist. You can share these with them so that they can understand what's expected of them and what types of things they should be writing down as their reaction to the dilemmas. After the 5 minutes are up, you can have the groups move clockwise around the room to the next dilemma and repeat this procedure. So read the dilemma, add their reactions to it in this format above. They should also read the previous comments that have been accumulated and connect their own ideas to the previous ideas. If you're using sticky notes, this is a great way for students to kind of group their notes together. Or sometimes you can do like a plus delta on different sticky notes to show the students, say like, yes, I agree, I'm seconding this idea right here. It's the same thing I had. It helps students see kind of a snowballing effect. Couple of tips here is that you don't have to oversimplify. you can take a little bit more time if you want to just cut down the amount of dilemmas. So these are some suggestions from teachers who've already done the lessons in their own classroom. And then another person used constraint brainstorming as a creative way to get students to think through problems and dilemma with a little bit of a twist. If you want to watch a video on that, we have a link right here so that you can take a look at that and see if you'd like to adapt this lesson to conclude that. At the end of about 20 minutes, you want to have students come back to their original dilemma and then ask one or two of the groups. You're not going to have time for everybody, but to share the reactions to the activity and what was written below each dilemma. And they can talk about how ideas evolved and connections that were made between stories and between different groups. If you have the time, you can also get into a few discussion questions about like what were you surprised by other things that people were writing? Did other people's reactions match your reactions? And how can diagnosing challenges like we did when analyzing the stories help us to overcome them? And then ask each student to take a picture of their initial dilemma and the Chalk Talk reactions to the dilemma, or they could take notes if taking a picture isn't possible. Here is an example from Mountain View High School from Peggy Dunstan's class about what students had written and how it worked. She did it in her classroom when they did their Chalk Talk. And then finally, you're going to get to the closing and exit ticket. So you'll have students complete the Year 2 Lesson 3.5 exit ticket. And there, students get to describe which of the lenses is most challenging for them to understand and why. And as a teacher, this will give you a chance to see where students feel like they might need a little bit more clarification as we're rounding out this unit. If you are looking for an enrichment activity, you can use this Chalk Talk synthesis handout, and they can synthesize their reactions to their initial dilemma and discuss their takeaways from the activity. They can use the notes and the picture it's taking to complete the worksheet, and as always, they can add it to their Good Work portfolio when complete.